Hello guys, it is me. I am back. Right, we are doing this. We are doing a stream today. I cannot believe it, but I've mustered enough time and courage to go back and turn the cameras, the mics on, and you are going to see me react to the game unfold between Portsmouth and Leeds. Just realised I've not changed a graphic which I should have changed, which is this one. There we go. Right, now we're all ready. Fabulous. Right, it might be a bit of a shell shock for most people here because I've not streamed for ages. Last game I streamed was Sunderland Portsmouth, which was, I would dare say, at least a month and a half ago. So it has been a long time. But I'm back here today. I am quite excited for this game. Leeds with a chance to extend their lead at the top of the table. They're currently joint on points with Sheffield United with 76 points each, I think it was. So we're starting to get to the tail end of the season now, and the big points are now being ramped up by all these sides. Big amount of pressure there because Sheffield United, and both Burnley and Sheffield United won their games yesterday, are applying some decent pressure on Leeds to get a result here today. And we'll find out how each team looks going into midweek. So midweek, which I will be recording later today, will be my week 37 score predictions. And that will be officially the final 10 games we're going to be predicting for each championship side to save themselves or to aim to get to a certain position in the table. We're just looking at Portsmouth's home form that Sky is showing, and they've actually only lost one home game in their last 11, which was Millwall, which was that random midweek game, which I wrongly predicted because I backed Portsmouth to carry on their brilliant winning form at home, and actually they've only drawn 2 of their last 11 home games. They've won all their other ones, and that is why Portsmouth have really turned it around this season, and they are really looking competitive. So we've got a decent amount of pundits talking about their experiences. We've got Gareth Evans, we've got Joby McAnuff and Neil Warnock offering their insight. In terms of people here, Blue Terrier, good to see you. Aiden, good to see you as well. And Johnny, good to see you as well. My prediction is Portsmouth 2, Leeds 1. It's a really interesting call there. So Johnny's backing Portsmouth's home form to continue there, and for Leeds to have a slip up in the title, well, I could say title race, but the championship promotion race. It's going to make things very interesting. Brighton have finally beaten Fulham in the Premier League. Wow, it sounds like that Brighton have had a pretty torrid record against Fulham, if that's the case, if that is their first win against them in the Prem. I would like to think of their championship record being quite even, because they would have both been around the same sort of level of competing within the championship. So, yeah, it's crazy that actually it's taken that long since Fulham have been promoted for Brighton to beat them. So that is for everyone that's here. Thank you everyone for turning up today. Again, I'm not expecting a huge swarm of people. I did pull this together pretty last minute, but ultimately I just want to watch the game and I want you guys to see how I'm reacting to it, and it gives you guys the chance to ask me some questions on the football or even just any other things, because quite honestly I've been MIA for so long now really in terms of streams, so it gives you the chance to catch up on latest football affairs. I will answer more questions in a minute. What I am going to do first is preview the squads, which is probably going to look very weird. Oh, for God's sake. There we go. I can't be doing with some technical issues today. I don't want it. Right, okay. Portsmouth Leeds at 12 o'clock kickoff, which initially when I was doing this, I thought it was going to be a 3 o'clock kickoff, but then literally just before I went to sleep last night, I saw it was 12 o'clock. I thought, oh, okay. I need to actually get my head together and make sure it's all prepared before I go to sleep. So Portsmouth's team looks like this. You've got Schmidt, you've got Zach Swanson, Regan Paul, Marlon Pack, Oglieve, Andre Dozal, Freddie Potts, Matt Ritchie, Arucci, Josh Murphy and Colby Bishop, a very strong Portsmouth side. I don't think they're missing too many people, actually. Leeds, you've got Meslier, you've got Junior Firpo, Pascal Strojik, Joe Rodon, Jalen Bogle, Ao Tanaka, Elian Grulev, Mana Solomon, Solomon has really been doing quite well quite recently. Brendan Harrison, Dan James, and Joel Piro. Again, a very strong side. Both teams have gone strong. Portsmouth have got this in their bench. They've got Jordan Archer, Riley Towler, Cohen Bramall, former Colchester player on the bench there. Terry Devlin, Isaac Hayden, used to play for Newcastle. Kusini Yengi, Cade Gordon, Mark O'Mahony. I really butchered that. Mark O'Mahony, sorry about that. And Thomas Waddingham. Leeds' bench looks like this. So they've got Carl Darlow, also used to play for Newcastle, played for Hull as well. Guinea Lugivi. Gilavogi. I think that's how you say it. I'm really sorry if I mispronounced it. Isaac Smith, Sam Byron, James DeBio, Largi Ramazani, Wilfred Nonto, Joe Rothwell, and Matteo Joseph. I would say I think both benches are a little bit light today, which will make sense since I think the starting 11s for both Portsmouth and Leeds are looking very, very strong indeed. The table currently looks like this. As I mentioned, both Sheffield United and Leeds are on 76 points, but you notice Sheffield United have played a game more. But one thing to note about is that Sheffield United were docked 2 points at the start of the season. And the question is, how important are those 2 points going to be in context to the automatic promotion race? Because you can see that Burnley are hot on their tails as well with 74 points. They beat Luton by 4-0 yesterday. Leeds have a chance to get a little bit of breathing space between them and Sheffield United and Burnley. A draw will bring them 1 point clear of Sheffield United and 3 clear of Burnley. But ideally, they're going to want to win. So a win for Leeds will put them 5 points clear of Burnley, and it will put them 3 points clear of Sheffield United. So, of course, we've got that game today, Portsmouth and Leeds. In terms of upcoming games, so this will be what we're going to be predicting very soon after this game. Burnley have got a trip to West Brom, which I would be expecting Burnley to at least get a result, potentially another clean sheet for them. Cardiff-Luton is a very important game in regards to the relegation battle, but I think Cardiff are the favourites at the moment. Derby-Coventry is an interesting one, but I think Coventry might be the slight favourites. Middlesbrough QPR could be anything as a result because both teams have been very inconsistent and both are in that mid-table position. Same goes for this game there, although Sheffield United got back to winning ways, beating Plymouth by 3-0. Norwich have been a bit up and down with their form. Sunderland-Preston, this will be interesting. I might be edging Sunderland for this one. Sheffield United, Bristol City, maybe not an easy game for Sheffield United because Bristol City have been pulling a good run of form together at the moment. Hull and Oxford, they're both teams near the relegation battle. I think this is more important for Hull considering they are still, I mean, to be fair, they're literally just right above each other in the table. So Hull could overtake Oxford if they do get a result and they can reach 40 points as well, which would be a monumental achievement for them. Millwall actually looks straightforward for Leeds, but I don't think it will be. I think this will be a tough game still. Portsmouth Plymouth, big game for Plymouth especially because they need a result desperately. They desperately need to get something there. If I remember right, did Plymouth beat Portsmouth last time around? I seem to remember they actually picked up a home win against Pompey last time, so Plymouth will be hoping to do the double. Watford Swansea, I don't think of too much of this game. Both teams are around mid-table. Stoke Blackburn. Blackburn, can they respond to losing to Derby County? Stoke, it's hard to say with them. Stoke are meandering near the relegation zone at the moment, so it's quite an important game for Stoke. So that is my thought on the upcoming games and everything that's going on at the moment. Thoughts on Huddersfield sacking Michael Duff? I think it's hard for me to put my finger on what's gone wrong with Huddersfield this season because they've had moments of brilliance, but what's clearly been going on is they have been struggling for goals. That has been the biggest factor. And if you've got a team that's not very confident in front of goal, a lot of the time you need a change up to kickstart a reaction. And unfortunately, maybe they've meandered on that change a little bit too late. Whether that's been down to restriction of injuries, whether that's been down to tactical ineptitude. I've not looked at Huddersfield in that amount of detail to know what's going to be going on. But it's disappointing for Huddersfield because they would want an immediate return to the Championship. And they're currently just outside of the playoffs. And they certainly are probably expecting a bit of a managerial bounce with whoever they bring in. I think they'll be a bit disappointed that they maybe did that sooner and they didn't get someone like Steven Schumacher in, who has recently been appointed by Bolton Wanderers. So I do think the timing of it may be a little bit too late considering there's under 10 games left. So I really, really do think it's going to be a situation that maybe they can live to regret, but it depends on the reaction. If they can react quickly to the sudden change of personnel, it might just be a little bit of a masterstroke that they can just at least get into the playoffs. I don't think promotion is in their question at the moment. It really does look like it's going to be between Birmingham for one of the places at least, and then the second place is going to be a fight between Wickham and Wrexham. It does feel like it's going to be that way. They've pulled away a little bit with their form. I did have a 4, but then lost it. But honestly, with Huddersfield, if they can get to playoffs, I think they'll be relieved based on where they have where they're currently at the moment. I still don't like Huddersfield with the point that I lost a bet to them, but ultimately, it doesn't excuse in terms of their position at the moment. I think with the squad of players they've got, they really should be doing better than what they are doing. But at least it's not as bad as Rotherham. That's all I can say for Huddersfield's point. They're not the worst performing relegated side from the Championship to League One, but it certainly is, based on how far away they've been from League One for so many years. You would have expected them, with the quality that they've got, to give themselves enough firepower to have an immediate return, and it's clearly not been that way. Johnny has for some stats again. Leeds fans don't fancy this fixture. Portsmouth beat them 6-1 at Fratton Park when they were in the Prem. Blimey, so that's going to be... that could be late 90s, early 2000s when Portsmouth did that. That would have been around the time when Portsmouth got promoted. It certainly would have been a little bit before for when I was watching the Premier League properly, but I certainly started watching around Portsmouth's twilight in the Premier League in the late 2000s. But yeah, this will be a really good game. I'm really hoping it's going to be as good as the reverse fixture. If you remember, it was a 3-3 draw. It was absolutely bonkers, and Portsmouth got themselves into a very commanding position at Ellen Road, but Leeds, showing their quality, just got back into the game in very dramatic fashion. Luton Town have only picked up 1 point in the last 15 Championship away matches. I mean, that's their issue, isn't it? It's their away form, Luton Town, that is potentially going to send them down. They did get that first elusive win for Luton Town since Matt Bloomfield came in, but despite that, they have still got a bit of a gap to breach from the bottom 3 to the teams above them, because the teams above them have at least had some level of consistency to take them away from that bottom 3. And right now, it needs to be all hands on deck in terms of just making sure that when you get a winnable game, like Luton, I think they've got a winnable game next game around, if I remember. I can't remember who it was. I literally just read the fixture 2 minutes ago, and I've completely forgotten who it was, but ultimately that's down to probably my excitement of, okay, it's Cardiff, but it is their way. It's an away game, and I do think Cardiff will look at this game thinking, okay, well, Luton currently on 31, Cardiff currently on 36. If Cardiff win that game, if they go 8 points clear, is it 8 points clear? Can I count? Yeah, it will be 8 points clear. If they can go 8 points clear at this stage of the season, they'll be looking very comfortable. But it's a must-win game for Luton, because a win for Luton would bring them 2 points away from getting out of the relegation zone. It's a crucial time for Luton's season, and it's not often we see teams get back-to-back relegations. You think of the last team that got back-to-back relegations, it was Sunderland from the Premier League down to League One. The one before that was Wolverhampton Wanderers in the period of 2012 to 2013. It can happen, and it will be a very sharp decline for Luton Town that they will need to try and recover from. And it's no guarantee. We're seeing Huddersfield and Rotherham struggling to climatise to League One. It is a very difficult transition when you have those subsequent relegations. Johnny wants to thank Bobby Thomas. I have a feeling you may have predicted 3-2 for Coventry Stoke. I went for 2-1. Was toying with 3-2, but I didn't see Sam Gallagher gain 2 goals, but he did. So ultimately, it made things very interesting. Big meal deal. Meal deal, I'm going to say. Welcome to the stream. Charlie, welcome back. No, thank you. Long time no see indeed. How is everybody? Honestly, I've really missed streaming, as I always tend to do when I do stream, because it is a rarity that I stream these days. It is, it's honestly, I'm really, really excited for today. I'm really excited for this game. If it's going to be anything like the reverse fixture, I'm hoping for pure entertainment. I want to see drama at the top of the championship. I want to see how Leeds are going to be able to do under pressure. I would like to see this current state of affairs in the championship leading into the midweek games. Honestly, so I'm going to be predicting the midweek games very, very soon after the video. And that will be released on Monday. And then obviously we've got another round of games, week 38. And then we've got a slight break. We've got an international break. Might do a video talking about the running. I'm talking through like the championship and talking through their promotion the promotion race, top 6 race, and a relegation race. I'm hoping we're going to see some potential changes or some more competitiveness in the relegation, promotion, and the playoffs. Because at this moment, I am kind of looking at the table thinking it's looking a little bit, conclusive at the moment. I do think the promotion is still looking very, very, competitive, certainly, for only 2 of the top 3 going up. In terms of the playoffs, it is looking like that Coventry and West Brom are going to be joining one of Burnley, Sheffield United, Leeds and Sunderland. And then with the relegation, it does look like it's going to be the current bottom 3 unless any one of those bottom 3 teams picks up an amazing result. Derby did it yesterday against Blackburn Rovers, who I don't think many of us gave them a chance, but ultimately it should have been. I should have done it. I should have predicted Derby to get something. It was written in the stars that John Eustace was going to get his Spurs win as Derby County manager against Blackburn Rovers. Should have been it. Coventry and Bristol City basically decide the automatics. Alright, so I'm wondering, because Coventry and Bristol City may play the top 4 currently, that's going to certainly decide where things are going. Okay. I will be looking at the run-ins soon. I think certainly when the international break hits, I think certainly to make sure that it's not tumbleweed going on in this channel, I might pump a couple of videos to give my thoughts on the current state of affairs in terms of the top 6 promotion and relegation race. Didn't feel right seeing Mark Robbins in the away dugout yesterday. Yeah, it's something to get used to, but look at where Coventry are at the moment. They are up on fire, and for the ones that were predicting Coventry to finish in the position of the table that they're currently in, I don't think any of us would have predicted it was because that they swapped managers from Robbins to Frank Lampard. I don't think anyone would have predicted this. A lot of the time, we are predicting teams to finish based on the resources. And suddenly, Coventry are now playing to the level that we expect from their resources. So, I'm kind of pleased because I was a bit nervous at the start that the Coventry prediction from my table predictions was going to look very, very off. There's already some clangers in there. I already know that I'm going to be in the 99% of people that predicted Luton to be in the top 3. I know that's going to be a horrendous prediction looking back. I can't think of any others at the moment. Probably linked to relegation. I mean, I would arguably say Oxford. Backing them to finish rock bottom is a very bad prediction based on how competitive they've been. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the last 10 games, because Oxford have been dragged back in the relegation mire, as it were. So this will be an interesting conclusion to see where teams are going to finish. With 30 points up the grabs for most of these sides, you can see lots of change in the table. Bristol City still have to play Leeds, Burnley and Sheffield United. Oh, that's a very tough run-in for Bristol City, that. But if they can get good results against at least 2 of those sides, it will give them a chance. And I do think because the sides around the playoff position have been quite inconsistent all season, that is why I don't think you need to score too many points to get into the playoffs at the moment. I mean, looking at that, we've got, 50 or so points to get into the top 6 currently at this stage of the season. I'd be very shocked if you need to score more than 70 points. I honestly think we could even have one side that gets 66, 67 points in 6th. It really wouldn't surprise me at all, based on the fact that we've got 10 games left. And what's that, 6 wins from those last 10 games? It just sounds realistic that is what's going to be. So I think that's going to be what we're going to... That's the standard I'm expecting to see in that region of the table at the end of the season. Last time a team in the English second tier won 0 away games was 75-76 with Plymouth. Are we going to say that Plymouth are going to match their own record? Now, I was going to say, are Luton doing that? But actually, Luton have picked up an away win. I did just stop myself and corrected myself. I did remember Luton picking up an away win against Millwall. But Plymouth are still winless away from home. So they could replicate that record for nearly 50 years ago? That is absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. No Gatsby, no party, says Blue Terrier. He is literally right round the corner. He's in my bathroom, actually, currently at the moment. Whether he comes in and makes an appearance, I don't know. Don't know actually what he's doing. He might be in my shower. I don't even know what he's doing. But he's certainly asleep there. If he gets bored and he wakes up and he wants to be nosy, he might appear. I'm keeping hope. I'm keeping hopeful that I'm going to at least talk to him at some point in the stream. Unless he's completely lazy and he can sleep through my whole thing, which honestly might not be too unrealistic either. Right, I'm going to cut the chit chat now. We are entering serious business. The teams are walking out. Portsmouth in their classic dark blue. Leeds are wearing their away kit in yellow. Before we do start counting down for kickoff, let's actually remind everyone what we're doing. So we're watching Portsmouth and Leeds. We're going to see if Leeds can take the opportunity to go 3 points clear of the chasing pack of Sheffield United and 5 points clear of Burnley. If you guys have not liked the stream yet, it will be absolutely appreciated if you can. It is always appreciated to hit the like button, to share, and to also subscribe as well. I don't actually know how my channel's doing for subs, actually. I did used to have that tab open. Where is it? Where is my thingy? Oh, is it there? There it is. So, in terms of sub count, we are on 2869. I think we can certainly get to 2870 today if we can really push it. That would be absolutely amazing. If we do get to 2870, we find ourselves, 130 away from 3,000 subs? We're getting close. Maybe. It may be a bit of an overreaching target. Could we get to 3,000 before the end of the season? I probably would need to do more videos and I would need to do more streams for that to be possible. But why not? Crazier things have happened. 2869 we're currently at. It's always absolutely appreciated to see the level of support here on this channel. So let's just very quickly cover the teams, just in case anyone was not here right at the start of the stream when I previewed them. Lineups are as follows. Portsmouth have gone for Schmidt in goal. They've got Zach Swanson, Regan Poole, Marlon Pack, Oglieve. You've got Andre Dozzle, Freddie Potts, Matt Ritchie, Aruchichi, Josh Murphy, and Colby Bishop for Portsmouth. Leeds have gone for Ilian Mezier. You've got Junior Firpo, Pascal Strojic, Joe Rodon, Jaden Bogle, Ayo Tanaka, Ilian Gruev, Manor Solomon, Brendan Aronson, Dan James, and Joel Pirro. It's always a mouthful to try and say names. I'm absolutely terrible with pronunciations. But we're kicking off literally less than a minute's time. Everyone, if you've not left your predictions, now's the best time to leave your predictions in the live chat. To remind you what I predicted, I believe I predicted a 2-1 win to Leeds. So that is what I'm expecting from this game. Both teams are in their own huddle now. How is everyone feeling about this game? Let me get the timer ready. I'm not going to set off my shower to get rid of him, and that would be cruel. I'm not going to be like that. Although, to be fair, he did wake me up last night and snuggle into my bed. Thought it was a bit cheap for him to wake me up at 2 in the morning. It wasn't very convenient, but that's what he does. When he wants to go back from being outside, he needs to be with someone, and he clearly chose me yesterday, which I really did not appreciate, to be honest. Brentford are now winners in the last 7 home matches, but on a 4-game winning run away from home. I mean, that's crazy because we were praising Brentford's home form right through the start of the season, but now it's taken a crazy shift where Brentford are now winless at home, but now Brentford are doing well away from home. So Brentford are not striking that perfect balance of getting good form home and away, but they've picked up more than enough points for them to be safe from relegation. I mean, in the Premier League, the competitiveness at the top, the top 3 of the Championship sides last year, showing the promoted sides, is absolutely woeful and embarrassing. So I do think we've got relegation wrapped up already. I know Wolves are also similarly not doing well at all. I'm really concerned for Wolves, especially next year. But they at least are in a position where they've got a 6-point cushion now from the 3 newly promoted sides. They'll be safe. Cunha will be back by the time that Wolves play Ipswich, and he, I think, will be the difference, and Wolves will beat Ipswich because Ipswich's home form is absolutely terrible. You know, and I'm not going to try and get my hopes up that Ipswich maybe will survive. Palace did not have Mateta yesterday. This was a big opportunity for Ipswich to try and get something. And whilst they had chances, it is too often, time and time again, where they're just not clinical. And then one lapse in concentration. And what you see there in the Premier League, you've got Palace who are around mid-table, but then you've got a quality goal from Sarr. And right now, that is the difference. And Ipswich, if they needed to get something from this game, they needed to take 1 or even 2 of those chances to have a chance of winning. That is as simple as that. And whilst I think they are improving their defending, although I think a bit too late into the season, right now I think that the quality man for man is just not good enough for the Prem, and they need to reinvest if they do have the opportunity to go back up 2 years after. Simple as that. But anyway, we're not going to be talking about Ipswich here. We're going to be talking about Portsmouth and Leeds. And it's been a relatively fast start. No team with chances at the moment, but I've certainly Leeds with more of the ball. But it is now, the ball is currently in possession of Schmidt. He's now rolling it to his defender there. Oglieve now with the ball. And Portsmouth just trying to get out of their own half, which they were momentarily out of. Okay, this will be a moment out of their half. Junior Firpo winning that header there. It's a good physical battle this at this moment of time, so I do think this will be an interesting contest. Zach Swanson with the throw-in. Schmidt connecting with the ball. He's not the best. Oh, okay. I was going to say not the best of free kicks, but it has found Josh Murphy, but he has lost it relatively cheaply there. I think he may have been flagged for offside. Also projected to pick up just 31 points. I'm trying to remember what was the lowest points anyone who finished in 17th place picked up. I'm pretty sure that one season a side picked up 34, which was enough to survive. But I cannot remember for the life of me. Why is the timer not going? I've just realised. Oh, I closed it, didn't I? Oh, I'm a moron. Why did I do that? Right, I'm going to have to now redo that. We're 4 minutes in and it's taken me that long to realise that the timer's not working. Right. 2 seconds. Right. Don't close it. There we go. Now it's working. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what was the lowest points you needed to survive the Premier League season last. I mean, last season was pretty dire, wasn't it? Luton Town, I don't even think reached 30 points in the end. Ipswich will be doing well to get 25. I think sort of the competition they've now given themselves is to try and get more points than what Norwich did in their last Premier League stint, which I think was 23 points. So Ipswich are in a position there where 2 wins will certainly at least match that. But I don't think they can even get 2 wins in their last 10 games at the moment. It's really looking very dire. And it is talking about the gap between the Championship and the Prem. And it certainly needs to be worked on. I'm really hoping that we can get at least one of the sides that goes up this year who can compete in the Premier League level. I really do. I certainly think top 2 is going to be very predictable. It could even be Leeds and Burnley, or Sheffield United and Burnley, which would be even more boring because that's 2 relegated sides from last season going back up. But yeah, the third side's going to be interesting because we know it's going to be someone that's not in who was recently relegated, because there's no chance Luton going up now. So at least we're going to see 3 different sides going up. Leeds are now having a good spell of possession. Passing the ball very, very well. Sort of in their half though. They've not... No side's had a chance yet. We're 6 minutes in. Sort of been... Most of the ball being played in the middle of the park at the moment. Not really much action at the moment. And the goalkeepers have barely touched the ball. Honestly. It's sort of like the long direct ball to try and find the front 3 has just not been good enough at the moment. It's not really been finding their target men at the moment. So, hoping the game that can spruce back to life a little bit more effectively very, very soon. That's my hope. But I'm going to be hoping here with a high quality side from both of those sides, and they both can really take their chances. I hope we can get plenty of goals. But literally, we've had no shots from either side so far. 6 minutes in. In fact, nearly 7 minutes. Okay, so this is interesting for Matt Ritchie. Although he has lost out against Manor Solomon. He's done really well there, Solomon, actually. Portsmouth could have a half chance here. First shot of the game goes to Portsmouth. It's a deflected effort from Freddie Potts. And it goes way wide of the post. So Firpo tries to clear it. It goes straight to Freddie Potts. And it's actually good from Ochichi, actually. I'm going to really struggle pronouncing his name, so apologies in advance. But I believe it was a slight deflection. It is a deflection. And Portsmouth have got the first corner and the first shot of the game. Apparently Portsmouth scored 8 goals from corners. That is the second most in the Championship. Corner comes in, but it's well headed away. I think we're certainly going to be seeing that a lot, where Portsmouth are going to try and harm Leeds with the set piece approach. Oh, cross comes in, but Melier collects. very comfortably in the end. Right. Suddenly, a little bit of movement in this game. So Swanson actually initially did it, and it was Josh Murphy that did the cross. It was a very exciting cross from Josh Murphy, but unfortunately too close to the goalkeeper, and no one was able to tap it in. Medier now just dishing the ball out wide to the right to Tanaka there. It's now back to Medier's possession. So Portsmouth looking a little bit aggressive in their press at the moment, which is good. That's what I would have wanted to see from Portsmouth. I do think when I last saw Portsmouth against Sunderland, they were quite toothless. They didn't really offer a lot, but I expected Portsmouth to struggle a little bit with based on their current away form. With their home form, I'm hoping to see Portsmouth to be a little bit more competitive. This could be a chance for Leeds. Leeds' first chance from Dan James. It is well defended. Leeds want a penalty, not been given. Leeds still keep the chance alive. Cross coming in. And it's going to be a corner for Leeds. I think Dan James, that is, who's still down wanting a pen. It's not going to be given. Oh no, it's Aronson. Apologies, it's not Dan James at all. Just a very slight clash of heads. Or was it Dan James? No. Oh no, yeah, Dan James does go down. So he tries to go down for a penalty for a bit of contact from Matt Ritchie. Oh, I tell you what, I've seen worse challenges being given for pens for that, but clearly the referee wasn't interested in his theatrics. Leeds have now got their first corner of the game. That's now been delivered. Schmidt catches it a little bit uncomfortable with the catch, but he gets it in the end. And they're trying to play it quickly to Josh Murphy. They've got a 2-on-2 situation here, and Josh Murphy does get fouled just outside the box. And I think a free kick has been given in favour of Portsmouth. Jaden Bogle, I think, has been booked for bringing down Josh Murphy just at the edge of the box. I'll be a little bit shocked if he wasn't booked for that, to be perfectly honest. Because there was definitely a clear obstruction. But this could be an interesting chance and an interesting opportunity for Portsmouth. They've got a free kick just outside the box. When anyone is here, please do tell me if like the audio or like the picture quality has been affected at all, because it's been relatively quiet. Interesting opportunity here for Portsmouth. Let's just talk through this chance here. I think it's Matt Rich. He's going to take it. Header. And it's caught very comfortably. Nick Knack is claiming that was a blatant pen. I need to see it again, but I can definitely understand why that can be given. Because I did say when I saw the contact again, I've actually seen penalties being given for less for that. Definitely accidental. Certainly wasn't intending for that. Oh, good chance there. Solomon with a delicious cross. But well defended by Portsmouth again. Leeds are now growing into this game. Certainly like the opening 5-6 minutes, it was played right in the middle of the park and no teams were getting any chances at all. Now we're starting to see some chances being peppered in, which is good. Referee was not interested in it. I think what happened is, okay, let's see this again. So, no, that's fine. And then Ritchie, yeah. So Dan James Dan James gets the ball first. Ritchie tries to get that same ball, but because Dan James catches it first, he does a full swing and he does kick Dan James's leg. And I think the referee thought that Dan James was being theatrical, but whilst I think it was a bit over the top from Dan James, I do think that may have been a bit of a mistake, honestly. Although we have seen some other very, very contentious challenges not being given for pens at all. And for me, it's the consistency, because, as I've said, I think I've seen less challenges being given for pens before. Yeah, I know. The The theatrics things is very difficult to control, but yeah, because even that, because like if you're too reserved and you go back up, then the referee undermines the challenge. It's like, what do you have to do in that situation? There, it's a very tough one because clearly it's one of those ones where the referee needs to see the contact to give it, and quite clearly, even though if Dan James may have overreacted slightly to it, because I don't think it was a hard kick, I don't think it was anything malicious per se, but it was certainly a decent amount of contact that would have sent Dan James down. I think certainly. Oh, Fiskovic chance. Oh my gosh, that was a big chance for Leeds. As I was just talking to chat, and Leeds had a really big chance. Oh my gosh. I don't know who that was. Was that Aronson? No, Solomon. Solomon with a poor touch in the box. Had he had a better touch there, he would have had a really delicious shot on. Yeah, it's going to be that. It's the theatrics, and with it being early in the game, I think that's what's going to make it reluctant for the ref. But it's the lack of consistency that's the problem, because it then makes football seem more like a narrative that challenges at the start of the game can be let go in order to keep the game flowing and tight as long as possible. And then you think, why do we get, early red cards or early penalties at some games, and some games which should get those moments, you don't get them. So football's always been a consistency problem for a long time, and very much part of the sport is that you've got to be on luck with the referee, unfortunately, and with things that are going on and decisions. It's unfair in that way, but unfortunately, unless things are taken into account and more investment is done to prevent these sorts of mistakes in the future, then ultimately that's what we're going to get in football. That is what we'll get. Right, Portsmouth with a small spell, but it is now defended quite well actually by Tanaka. Tanaka again on the ball. So I've not seen a lot of Tanaka, so I'm interested to see how he gets on for Leeds here. Rodon, back to Junior Firpo. Gruev, back to Strojcic. So Leeds having a good spell here, but not out of their half yet. Now they are. So this is interesting. Here's Dan James against Josh Murphy. Doesn't get around him, but he still keeps possession of the ball. And it's a good bit of defending. Good defending. Can't see who it was. Zach Swanson actually did that. Well done to him. That was really good stuff. Referees not having that foul being given. Aruchichi tried to get a free kick for Portsmouth. Wasn't given in the end. 60 minutes gone. No goalkeeper's made a save. So all the shots have either been off target or have been blocked at this moment of time. I certainly think Leeds look more confident on the ball. And they do look like to me that they are finding it a bit more successful to get into their opponent's half than what Portsmouth are. But it doesn't mean to say that, now this could be a big moment here. Here's a chance for Portsmouth, Matt Ritchie. Oh, and it's too long on the ball by Colby Bishop. He knows that he got on the wrong side of himself. I think it was Tanaka with the mistake. Yeah, Tanaka completely makes a mess of it, actually. Oh, that is very, very unfortunate. I think it was Andre Dozzle that actually wins the ball off him. And Colby Bishop just holds on to the ball for too long. And afterwards, Leeds managed to clear their lines. Yeah, I mean, that 3-3 draw, what that was I think Media made a mistake for one of the goals. And Portsmouth were very, very clinical when they did have their chances. I think it was 22 shots to Leeds and 5 for Portsmouth. And 3 of those 5 goals were goals. And that, those are the sorts of the things that stats don't always tell the story of the scoreline. It's going to be interesting to see if this is going to be a similar scenario. I do think, statistically, I think this is going to be closer. Based on the opening 17 minutes, it is certainly a much closer contest this time around, which is what I would expect. Portsmouth, I think, are playing better at home as it stands, and their success at home recently speaks for itself. Here's Joel Pirro. They're going to want a corner for that. And I think a corner has been given for Leeds. Zach Swanson conceding the corner. They are a different animal at home. Absolutely. So let's see. Did the ball go out and play? Yeah, it's a corner. It's a corner. Simply because Joel Pirro actually does get contact of the ball, but that's outside of play when Zach Swanson kicks it, so it's a corner. So thank you, as always, for everyone commenting in chat. How are you guys reacting to the game at the moment? Certainly not a spectacle at this moment of time, but I'm hoping that the game will start to spice up. I've got to say, the weather looks really nice at Portsmouth. And weather report in Chelmsford, as I tend to do, it's actually clear blue sky, which is very, very rare. We don't see that often these days. Oh, this could be a good opportunity for Leeds. But again, it's really good defending by Portsmouth. Portsmouth are just in the right place at the right time when it comes to that defending. And we've got Colby Bishop doing defensive work here, which is really good for his part. But what we are noticing is Portsmouth attacking a lot down the left, which is what Josh Murphy is doing. But what we are seeing for Leeds' point of view, we're seeing a lot of involvement of Dan James on their respective right-hand side as well. So lots of attacks actually happening at one half of the pitch at the moment. I do think the team that will be able to spread their attack a little bit better will be the ones that are more likely going to be able to open the opposing team up. And with any sort of opportunity that is happening in the penalty box, the respective goalkeeper is just collecting it very comfortably at the moment. We've not seen too much stress. Maybe a slight moment of panic when Tanaka gave the ball away at his own half in the midfield against Andre Duzzle. But other than that, it has been relatively comfortable for both sides at the moment. Maybe with the exception of the penalty call as well. Junior Firpo with a cross for Leeds. Dan James, if he was 2 inches taller, he would have got that. But he's now keeping possession of the ball. Anderson. Solomon. Firpo. Good football from Leeds. Another corner for Leeds. They're now starting to rack up those corners. That is certainly one of the quickest moves of the game as of yet. So Dan James, Anderson, Solomon is playing so well. That weighted pass to Firpo was timed perfectly, and Firpo timed his run perfectly because he could have been offside in that position. Solomon taking the corner. Header just about cleared in the end. Although it's not very well cleared at all, actually. Although referee has just stopped play. I think there was a collision. Right, Strojcik is down. I didn't quite see what it was. It was a little bit scrappy when the corner came in, but I didn't think there was too much contact. Potentially could have been a head collision. So as we get a little break, how is everyone going around their weekend? What has everyone been up to? Okay. So wait, did it occur because Anderson headed the ball right in the back of Strojcik's head? I think that's what it was. I think it was the unexpectedness of the ball being projected right in the back of his head. So he's probably mildly. I don't know. Would you say he's concussed from that? Maybe mildly concussed from that. So, I mean, this weekend has been relatively quiet for my part. I've not needed to study. I've finished at least the most recent exam that I have been able to do. So it's been a really relaxing weekend. What I want to do is actually go gym and, actually run and do exercise. But then I played football a couple of days ago for about 50 minutes and got really bad cramp in both legs. So much so that I can still feel pain now. And for some reason, now my knees are now really sore as well. So I don't know what's going on with my legs at the moment. I mean, it's what happens when you study for 6 weeks and do no exercise as a result, I guess. But it has certainly been difficult to pick the exercise back up. Looks like Strawchick is okay to carry on. It is now in possession of Portsmouth, and we carry on. So I did watch Portsmouth in my last watch-along against Sunderland, and they certainly didn't have the ball as much as this. And I would have expected Portsmouth to maybe have a bit more of the ball with them being at home, but this is Leeds United that we're talking about here, and Leeds, always home and away, do try and get control of the ball, and they do so most of the time very successfully. So Portsmouth kind of struggling to get out of their half at the moment. Schmidt with a goal kick. He has kicked it long and hard, and it is met Messier. So that's really what it's been a lot. The distribution from both goalkeepers actually hasn't been the greatest. Leeds now holding possession of the ball. There's a good bit of play from Leeds. Firpo. Oh, there's a good ball from Gruev there. Hero. Strawchick, who is now playing now, so it's good to see that he's alright. Okay, Solomon, who I'm really excited to see because I've been seeing the stats he's been racking up recently, and he's clearly playing with a lot of confidence at the moment. Here's Gruev. Solomon down the left. A bit of trickery just outside the box. He's got two players to beat. He goes back to Gruev. Back to Solomon. Still with two players to beat. They've clearly been instructed to keep their eyes on him. What's Gruev going to do? He's going to, I think, spread the play. He will. To Strawchick. To Joe Rodon now, who I've not seen a lot of this game. Or ball being lost out. And Portsmouth recover him, but Leeds also recover it back for themselves as well. Jaden Berger with actually a good interception there. Okay, Strawchick to Solomon down the left. He's got Swanson to beat. Cross comes in. The cross is not great at all, unfortunately. Goal kick. A little bit of a wasted opportunity, that. So 25.5 minutes in. I like to see if the stats actually show a goalkeeper making a save. At this moment, we've had no shots on target from either side. It's not been ideal. I was hoping for a little bit more goal mouth action than this in the opening 25 minutes, but you can't have everything. I think sometimes you've got to be patient. I think I managed to see one goal last time around with Sunderland against Portsmouth. And then other game that I watched was Norwich Middlesbrough, which had plenty of goals. So it can really go either way, these strings. It can either be full of goal mouth action, or it could be little goal mouth action, which is what we're currently seeing here. Oh, it's an interesting cross from Ritchie, but it's again collected very comfortably by Melier. Still no shot on target from either side. Middle is say, do you think the League One playoff race is the most exciting it's been in years? The League One, yes. But I think we are now seeing a situation where I do think a bit similar to the Championship. You've got a really competitive top three, and then you've got essentially the best of the rest fighting it out for the playoffs. Now, when Leyton Orient were up there, that made things really interesting. But Leyton Orient have been on a terrible run of form recently. But Bolton are now back in the race, now that they've got a new manager in Steven Schumacher. Huddersfield dropping out of it, but now that they've parted ways with Michael Duff, maybe they can start to recover some ground. Charlton, who have been out of it for quite a fair bit, are now slowly cementing themselves into it at this moment. Yeah, I think it's a really, really exciting competition in League One this year. Relegation was very close, but I am seeing a bit of a gap being formed now with the bottom four and the rest of the sides, considering, I think, is it a 6-point gap between Burton and Bristol Rovers now? Are we outsiders in 8th? Is that Reading who are in 8th? I'd like to think that's... Yeah. No, I wouldn't say not yet. But the thing is with Reading, for what I'm seeing, that's 3 draws in 4 games, there needs to be more draws into wins. Honestly. Corner for Leeds. Just changing the conversation very quickly. Nothing coming out of it. Reading going through a good unbeaten run at the moment, but by the looks of things, if they're drawing 3 out of their last 4, there's been too many situations where they've just not been able to quite pick enough 3 points. So it's good that they're staying unbeaten. That will certainly help keep them in the race of the playoffs. But I do think they need to start winning more games in a bit more of a frequent way. You know, I think Charlton have turned that around brilliantly. Now that Bolton have now improved their form dramatically since Schumacher's come in, now Bolton have overtaken Reading in that regard as well. So I just think a little bit more consistency with getting 3 points is needed. I mean, Crawley was a big game, you know, winning for most of it, late equaliser. Had they won that game, then Reading would have only been 3 points off. So those are the sorts of games, you know, you can't be affording to dropping points against now at this stage of the season. But again, with 30 points up the grabs, there's still so much that can be changed. Right, referee's letting a lot go here, by the looks of things. Here is Junior Firpo on the attack for Leeds, trying to find Joel Pirro, but he doesn't quite find him. It's well defended. No, it absolutely is, because Crawley, you know, like there's no business really with drawing with Crawley at the moment. They're really looking like that they are going to be relegated with the 3 other sides in the bottom 4. But when you're playing a side that's still believing that they can stay up and fight for their lives, it's very difficult, and a lot of the time teams just make the error of just not giving their all against them. So it is a very crucial stage of the season because it's one of the ones where the stakes just raise ever so much higher. They really, really do. So each game does mean significantly more now when the end of the season dawns ever closer. What we are going to start seeing is some teams confirming their promotions and relegations in the upcoming weeks. I think I'm right in saying Ebbsfleet have nearly confirmed their relegation back to National League South, which is bad news for National League South because if they're going to play like they did last time in National League South, they're going to absolutely dominate in National League South. Okay, so 30 minutes in, still no shots on target from either one of these sides at the moment. I've seen better games in the opening 30 minutes, I have to say, but ultimately, most of the entertainment has been from talking to you guys. Now, in terms of a team over the board at the moment, it's Portsmouth. They've got a throw in, actually near Leeds' penalty box, so potentially a long throw could be pumped in, and that is exactly what's happening here, although it is not deceiving Melier. He catches the ball very comfortably. A little bit of a collision with a Portsmouth player there. Bit naughty in that front. But yeah, no foul given, then no opportunity. Now, the thing is, I can't hear the commentary, so I don't know how people are reacting. I don't know, like, to something not being given as a yellow or that penalty call not being given. I think more people are going to say it's a penalty, and I'm leaning towards it being a penalty, honestly, with that Richie opportunity. Ooh, excuse me. So, now we've got Portsmouth again with a throw-in. God, the ball's been out of play a lot today. It's been a really tough watch. Oh, so you're watching Basingstoke. That's interesting. Would Basingstoke be quite near Reading? I thought... Why did I think Basingstoke was like near Bristol or something? I don't know. My geography's not great. As I was called out in the last video about my geography, thinking that Watford was in London. Right. Swanson taking the throne for Portsmouth. Okay, it's actually not far from Reading. Okay. Actually didn't know it was actually that close to Reading. Here's Josh Murphy against Jaden Bogle. Oh! That's a very dangerous cross. That actually looks very dangerous. Right, okay. Matt Ritchie. Cross still coming into the box. Oh my gosh. Okay, I don't know what happened there. I don't know. The ball didn't look like it went out of play. That was a very, very inviting cross from Josh Murphy. He has certainly been the most threatening when it came to crossing. Trying to find Colby Bishop. I mean, he's way too close to the goal. If he was aiming for Colby Bishop, it was actually not the best of crosses at all. But it was like one of those cross shots that actually was not too far from the goal. He certainly has been a bit of a bright spot for Portsmouth at the moment. Corner being awarded for Portsmouth here. Melier comes and punches the corner. Aruchichi now with the ball against Dan James. He does a cross. Not the best of crosses. Jaden Bogle does get something to it. Although, this could be a shot. And we actually have a shot by Freddie Potts, I think. And it's over the goal. Still no shot on target, unfortunately. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for a goalkeeper to make a save. that's really all I'm waiting for now. I don't think Messina was too pleased with that opportunity being put away so cheaply there. Oh, excuse me. I actually just kicked my monitor. Oh, God. I hope you feel better soon. It's never nice when you've got a chest infection. Marlon Pack winning the header against Joel Pirro. But Leeds win it back almost immediately. And that's really what's been happening a lot. A lot of these 50-50s, whilst teams have won them, the recovery rates from both sides has actually been relatively good. Which is why we've really not seen a clear out-and-out favourite from these two at the moment. I'd say Leeds are the most likely, but it's really not saying a lot. Leeds with a throw-in into Portsmouth's box now, but they've not decided to take it long. Very strong challenge from Zach Swanson, and looks like a throw-in has been awarded to Portsmouth, which is really frustrating. And Gruev, or was it? No. Okay, so it was to Leeds, but they've not been able to take it as quickly as they wanted to. Right, Junior Firpo with a throw-in for Leeds. That's what was going on here. Although again, good interception there. And now this is a chance for Portsmouth to get something. Josh Murphy again on the ball. Spreading the play out wide to Matt Ritchie. Although that's not a great ball at all. Gruev manages to win it back ever so quickly. And thrown to Leeds. Oh, are you? You're from Winchester. One of my mates went to university in Winchester, actually. Didn't unfortunately go out to see him, although. So he actually recently just finished university. I don't know why my time is 15 seconds behind. It's like lagging. I can change it to make sure that it is correct, but honestly, I had it on time, but now it just doesn't want to be on time. I want to try and do it again. Right, let's try this. That is ever so slightly behind by a couple of seconds, but I'm hoping now that looks a little bit better. I don't know why. Maybe sometimes like when I change the scene or something, it lags. But I've really not changed scenes at all because, quite honestly, I've not needed to change the scene at the moment because there's been no chances. Oh, this is a shot, but it's blocked. Still no save from the goalkeeper. Oglieve potentially having a shot. Blue Terror says play up Pompey. Yeah, Portsmouth are actually doing a little bit better. I did say for one stage Leeds were growing into it, but now Portsmouth have coped with Leeds, I think. It does give me the impression that this is going to be a draw. By the way that these teams are playing at the moment. Both teams are just cancelling each other out so effectively. So it's difficult to see who's going to be the difference. Again, a Josh Murphy cross, but it's again caught by Melian. We've been seeing that a lot. Yeah, well, at this moment. You know, I'm just adding the timer for an aesthetic. Oh, this could be a chance. Dan James. Oh, good defending. This might be another chance for Leeds. Literally just a solo run from Dan James nearly actually unlocks the entire defence, but it's well recovered. Junior Firpo. Solomon. Shot on goal. Save. Another save. Oh my gosh, what a chance for Leeds. And a free kick awarded to Portsmouth. Frustration from Strojcik. That was a huge chance for Leeds. A double save from Schmidt. Unbelievable. Let's see this again. Junior Firpo to Solomon. Initially blocked. He's not offside. He has the first shot. Joel Pirro probably thought he was offside. Joel Pirro, I'm so shocked he did not go for the other corner. He had the other corner free because of the previous save made from Solomon. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe he didn't go for the other corner. He must have thought he was offside. That's a horrendous miss from Joel Pirro. The save from Solomon, fair enough. You know, it's difficult to score those chances, especially with a good goalkeeper like Schmidt. But Pirro's beat was put onside, 2 yards out from the goal, and had he gone to the other corner, it would have been an easy goal. Oh my goodness me, what a let-off from Portsmouth. Amazing stuff. Wallace and Gromit fan, welcome to the stream as well. It's good to see you. Partially inside from the first shot thing. Potentially, that's maybe why Schmidt parried the shot straight at Pirro when it happened. But now looking at the other side of the pitch, what's going on here? So that was Aglieve. And Aglieve just tried to take a shot on goal, and it's just wide off the post. Don't know how to pronounce your name, but C4N2, did I see the Swansea Borough game? I did see the highlights, and I gotta say, it was quintessentially the perfect performance from Swansea of just doing enough without needing to do too much. It was a clean sheet, they got their one goal in the end, and they nullified Middlesbrough to little chances. So, brilliant performance. That's just really all I can say. Well, with the quality of pundits these days, Big Mill, I think almost anyone could try and be a pundit these days. A little bit of tension going round. I'm slowly starting to see some tension being flown here. This could be a good insight that we maybe could start to see a bit of drama in this game, which is always exciting. I tell you what. Oh, okay. Aglieve is throwing himself into this game. I don't know what's gone over him, but he's really now starting to leave his mark. So Aglieve has had a couple of shots in the past couple of minutes. He then chases the ball, which Meslier clearly gets before him, but he goes studs down straight at Meslier and gets a really strong tackle on him. I mean, so he catches his foot. It's not actually a very strong challenge, but he catches his foot. Foot was a little bit high there. Yeah, Fark's not happy. Fark would have wanted a bigger caution from Aglieve there. Yeah, VAR would have been looking at that. I mean, you could have imagined VAR probably should have looked at the Matt Ritchie penalty that could have been conceded for Leeds. Yellow minimum, yeah. No red card high up and yeah. Oh god, you've been through a lot. You certainly have been through a lot of stuff. We've got 3 minutes to half time, and I've got to say, in the past 5 minutes, it's now livened up a bit. We've finally had a really good, notable opportunity to speak about. Leeds now certainly looking the more likely to score. Looks like we finally got a yellow card in this game. It's taken long enough for the referee to give a yellow card. I think it's gone to Regan Poole. I don't know why it's taken the referee that long to get a yellow card. I've seen worse challenges in this game not being given for yellow cards, honestly. But again, it talks about that sort of, well, not scripted, but it talks about this storyline that now the game is now starting to boil up. We're now needing to penalise these challenges. Lee should have scored a while ago if they were consistent. I mean, Joel Pirot, I don't know how he missed it. It was easier to score than to miss. It was so much easier to score. You had a whole corner of the goal free. You had a whole corner of the goal, and if you have a whole corner of the goal free, the one thing you don't do is hit it again at the goalkeeper. The only excuse I can give him is that maybe he thought he was offside. That's all I could say. This is a very bad miss. Yeah, no, they have. Portsmouth have kept their shape well, and they have restricted Leeds quite significantly with very few chances. Apart from that Solomon chance to Joel Pirot, Leeds have barely offered any threat going forward. And that's all credit to Portsmouth, because that is clearly the reason why teams are struggling to get results against Portsmouth at home. But from Leeds' point of view, we're seeing clearly why Solomon is one of the standout players at the moment, because he was the one that actually started that chance. Ooh, Joel Pirot's got to be very careful there. I think he caught a Portsmouth player pretty high. I think Zach Swanson was trying to claim that he got his head. I don't think a card was awarded. In fact, no, I think it was Freddie Potts that was trying to claim that he caught his head. But yeah, nothing given in the end. Yeah, only one yellow card, which surprises me. I mean, because even that foul on Ritchie at the start of the game that gave Portsmouth a free kick just after the whole penalty incident, I thought that would have been a yellow card, but clearly not. That was very, very strange as well, that the referee has not given a yellow card until now. 1 minute of added time, by the way. I've completely neglected the fact that it's actually nearly half time. Portsmouth with a chance, but it's well cleared. And I didn't actually watch the Summon charity match, but I did see the result. It was certainly exactly what I expected, and my thoughts on it, well, you know, if they're able to pack out Wembley and raise 4.7 million for charity, then ultimately they're doing the world of good. And anyone that does not see the good in that are just bitter, personally. That is, yeah, that's a crazy scoreline. I've seen some high scoring games in history from like the series of games that they've had, but I think 9-9 might be the biggest amount of goals we've seen for both. I mean, I think the keepers maybe were the big reason for that, but it was certainly a very certainly with the bits I did see, yeah, it was certainly exactly what I expected. Right, and just like that, that is half time at Fratton Park. Only notable opportunity was with Solomon and Joel Pirot forcing Schmidt into a double save. A talking point is certainly going to be Matt Ritchie on Dan James. A very, very strong possibility of a penalty, which should have been given for Leeds United in the opening 10 minutes, but it wasn't given in the end. Portsmouth have had their chances, but they've not really tested many yet at all. A lot of the opportunities coming from Josh Murphy's crosses, but have not really been able to find Colby Bishop or Matt Ritchie. As of half time, it is Portsmouth 0, Leeds United 0. So that is the first half coverage here. How is everyone finding this game? And if any of you got any questions regarding recent football events or any other events, do let me know, because this is your chance to catch up with me. I've not really been streaming for about a month and a half. Yes, this is the third time I've actually spoke about Michael Duff leaving Huddersfield. I mean, I do have to question maybe the timing. I think Huddersfield aren't a million miles away of getting back into the top 6, but I'm more or less seeing, had they dismissed Duff sooner, potentially they could have got Schumacher and beating Bolton to that. Because I do think Bolton are having a really good effect of managerial bounce with Schumacher coming in, and have really picked up some good results. And because of that, Bolton have now claimed into the top 6. Yeah, 7-4. Yeah, I remember that was a Chris Kamara thing that we saw. 8-2 between United and Arsenal. And I remember exactly where I was when that scoreline happened. That was when I was on holiday, when United beat Arsenal 8-2. 9-0 Southampton. Again, I remember that one. 9-0 Leicester. I always remember when I have that, then you have that. Yeah. But it's the quality of the goalkeepers, and to be honest. So, we're an hour and 15 into the stream. I can't believe I've been streaming for that long. It's actually crazy how much time flies. So, let's look at the table, how things stands with this result. So, 0-0 draw currently. I can actually hear Gatsby snoring in my shower. I'm going to wake him up in a minute because that is disgraceful. Right, but we are currently, I say we, Leeds are on 77 points. 1 point clear of Sheffield United and 3 points clear of Burnley with the same amount of games being played. This draw for Portsmouth officially puts them on 40 points, and I would dare say with Derby, Luton and Plymouth, I think 40 might be close to being enough points to survive actually. I don't see Derby, Luton and Plymouth winning too many games from now to the end of the season, so I think Portsmouth will be in a commanding position if they do get a good result here. But again, let's say Portsmouth score, that will put them on 42 points, and it means that they actually will stay 17th. What's the goal difference looking like here? So their goal difference is slightly better for Oxford. So actually, regardless of what result, depending if Leeds smash them, Portsmouth will stay 17th in the table. Leeds will stay top regardless because their goal difference is so much better than Sheffield United, but a defeat would actually prevent Leeds going further clear of Sheffield United, and arguably if Sheffield United were able to keep their points, then it would be Sheffield United beating Leeds in the table. Now I sense Gatsby might be waking up actually. Wrexham are nothing special, says Blue Terrier. Is that a hot take? Let me know in the chat. I'm just going to quickly talk to Gats because he is certainly making a move. You are snoring in my shower. Get out of my shower. Get out of my shower. Okay, well he's not leaving my shower as of yet, but I have to make sure that I open the door for him so he can get out. So, just again being the right royal pain in the backside. How does the prediction point scoring work? Okay, good question. So if you've not seen my score prediction videos, when you get a correct score bang on, let's say if 0-0 was the full-time result and someone predicted 0-0 before the game had kicked off, you get 3 points. Let's say you got a draw, but it wasn't a correct draw. Let's say I predicted 1-1 for this game and it ended 0-0. I can't get 3 points because I didn't get the score spot on, but because I got the correct outcome correctly, you get 1 point. And then obviously, if it ended 0-0 and I predicted, I don't know, a 2-1 win to Portsmouth or a 2-1 win to Leeds, because no team won from the actual outcome, 0 points. And that is how it works. Glad of giving it to John Worthington to the end of the season. Yeah, it's certainly going to be one where Huddersfield are going to have to just try and recoup back into the playoffs, but it is a tough one. Bolton are now going on a good run with Steven Schumacher coming in. I do sense Reading will be competitive at trying to get up there as well. I don't want to dismiss Leyton Orient, but I do think Leyton Orient's recent form is now taking them away a little bit, and now I think they're running out of energy. I would almost arguably say Blackpool and Lincoln are outsiders, and it's going to take a lot for them to get back into the conversation, but I think a lot of it, I think it's really going to be down to the current top 8 for me, who could get into the top 6. How about Luton? Oh, So Luton is, we're now at a situation with Luton Town. I mean, if any of you got any questions about any clubs, let me know, because I think I will, not this week, but the week after, I'm going to do separate videos talking about my thoughts on the promotion race, the relegation picture, and of course, the playoff race. I do think the playoff race is probably the most open part of the table at the moment, but I'm a bit scared that the rest of the table is looking a little bit too conclusive. Brentford, Brighton, Palace and Fulham, which of these five do you think will win their first major trophy over the others? That is a great question, and I think that comes round to for the fact that both Bournemouth, Brighton, Palace and Fulham are currently in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. I think it's the quarterfinals they're currently... Yeah, no, because Ipswich weren't in the quarterfinals. So you've got Preston Villa, City, Fulham, Palace, and then three others, which I couldn't even remember. So yeah, currently in the quarterfinals. I mean, out of those teams who I think could win a trophy first, I have a very sneaky feeling about Brighton. I think Brighton, out of those cluster of teams, may be more likely. Brighton, I think, have had the most experience, strangely enough, out of those four in most recent competitions with sort of those high stakes cup things. I know Brentford aren't. But because Brentford are playing quite well at the moment, but which is why I think Johnny's included them. But Brentford, whilst they have been good, I just don't think they've got that consistency as of yet. I think Brentford are just going through a very nice, graceful period of their Premier League status at the moment. Fulham are certainly going through a good stage as well, but I think out of all of them, I personally think Brighton have been able to survive so many transitions of changes of managers and players letting go, and they still maintain that competitiveness. I've not really seen a season where I thought, okay, Brighton are now looking like that they're going to topple down the places, even if they have fallen down ever so slightly, they will still remain, the upper part of the bottom half of the table. So for me, I think it would be Brighton. Fulham were closest. Yes, they were. They lost against Atletico Madrid, didn't they? Diego Forlan with the goal. Even the parachute payments, they're stuck in the relegation zone. I tell you what it is. So I know Luton have had injuries, and I don't want to put it all down to injuries because it would be a bit of a cheap excuse, and any team can have that. What we're seeing here is clearly a side shot of confidence in front of goal. They're not scoring anywhere near enough goals. And at the moment, I just think what we've got at the moment is just a dejected squad where they had so many highs in the Premier League, and they probably expected to walk the league in the Championship, and it's not turned out to be that way. With a recently relegated side, you do expect other teams to bring their A game. And I just think the recruitment side of it has just not been strong enough for Luton's perspective. I do think because Luton were actually the last team to be officially relegated from the Premier League, I think because of that, Burnley and Sheffield United have been able to think more ahead in advance to the Championship, whereas I think Luton have more or less just been sticking around in their ways. And because Luton, I felt, actually made the most changes out of the three newly promoted sides when they went up last year, to suddenly then go back to a squad which could compete in the Championship, I just think they've had too many wholesale changes, and I think as a whole, getting rid of Rob Edwards, I think in hindsight, I thought was quite of a strange choice. I don't think Luton were cut adrift in the relegation zone by the time they got rid of him. And Matt Bloomfield has taken forever to get his first win. So I think part of it just comes with bad decisions, but I also think just down to players feeling quite dejected, low on confidence, but also potentially not quite giving it at the level as they should be expecting as well. Probably quite upset in the fact that they have not been moved on and not been taken on by a Premier League club. Relegation zones of the leagues have almost been decided. Yeah, and that's what I'm hoping, like, in the next 2 games we see, I don't know, like, Luton, Derby, or even Plymouth picking up a point, or even 3, just to make things a little bit interesting in that region of the table. Because when I have been doing these sorts of discussion videos on the promotion, playoffs and relegation, there's been this sort of anticipation that we're still not so sure about the outcome. But for me, promotion, whilst I don't think it's confirmed, but we know 2 out of 3 currently are going to be promoted automatically. Playoffs for me is actually nearly confirmed as well. It sounds like to me that I'm dismissing Bristol City quite a bit, but I do think West Brom and Coventry can show enough consistency to stay, competing at those levels. And Bristol City have got a tough run of games as well. Reading will reach League One playoffs and win it, says Big Mill. Well, that's going to take quite a bit to close a 5-point gap, but it's certainly not impossible. And it's really going to be down to who the teams are going to be within it. You've got Charlton with Nathan Jones, who's got experience of getting out of League One. You've got, who else is in the playoffs currently? Should know. Stockport. Now, Stockport are a big surprise, but Stockport clearly have had experience of getting out of a playoff, EFL playoffs before. Obviously League 2, but still they have got the experience of getting out of the playoffs before, so they know what they need to do for that. You've got Wrexham as well, which, we cannot deny. They have certainly have been on the rise. Have had lots of money being pumped into the business, and as a result, they are, loaded with attacking quality, especially recently. I really do think you've got a really strong, competitive playoff race in League One. And it wouldn't even surprise me if actually a lot of the League One teams that do go up this year actually do well in the Championship next year. I actually don't think the gap between League One and Championship is substantially big. But when it comes to the Championship to the Prem, however, we are now definitely seeing with the last 2 seasons that the gap is really, really big. Because I think what we're seeing here is when we do see teams going up, financially, they are always in a disadvantage because of the sides around them. You've got Wolves who can splash the cash. You've got Crystal Palace who can spend 100 million in a window to improve their squad. Think of the money that Palace have got from Elise, and they can then utilise that all across the pitch as well. Those are the sorts of competitions that the newly promoted sides have got to try and strive for, and it's always it's a tough one at the moment, and it's clearly a tough situation for the Championship to be in, to be quite far behind the Prem. And we've not, it's been quite rare to see all 3 newly promoted sides go down, but the fear that I'm having is now going to start becoming a bit of a reality and a bit of a frequent affair, which does actually make the Premier League a little bit less exciting, to be quite honest. Who do you think was worse? Sheffield United 23-24 or Southampton 24-25? For me, Southampton, because unfortunately at the moment, whether they like it or not, they are currently on course of matching Derby County's unwanted lowest points tally. Now, Pete was kind of talking through the point that I made with Dan James. Whilst I do think the contact reads for a penalty, I think the theatrics from Dan James is what led the referee not to give the pen. So I can certainly understand the sort of conflict, as it were, to give something that seems so obvious as a penalty, but not as a penalty, if that makes sense. For me, I'm always one that doesn't want to swing one way to another. I'm always open for both sides of the coin in terms of a debate. I don't think I would create a league now. I did actually do it for the past couple of seasons, but I've just been so busy with work and studies, I've just not been doing it. But I'm hoping by the time next season hits, I'll have no more exams left. So that will be the best situation for me to be in. That will be something that I like to do. Now, honestly, I have been thinking about the future of my channel quite recently. It has been very, very difficult to sustain it. And quite honestly, the growth this year has been very disappointing. It has been. I'm not going to, you know, spruce it up and try and bring sunshine and rainbows. It is really going to be, I'm always going to be very honest. So I need to think very carefully about what's going to happen next year and how's that going to do for my health as well. You're on over 2,000 points. Well, I probably would be not even at 1,500 at the moment. I'm struggling for Premier League as well. What's my thoughts of the season? Henry, welcome to the stream. It's good to see you. So my thoughts of the season have been... let me look at the table and I can comment from that. So, the current top three, I think very predictable. Sunderland certainly being one of the shocks of the season. I would almost arguably say Oxford one of the shocks of the season to see how well they've been doing. But then I'd say the biggest shock is with how poorly Luton have been. So there certainly has been some predictability in the Championship this year. But there's certainly been some very common unpredictability as well, which is always great. I think the games, on the whole, have been relatively entertaining, as they typically are in the Championship. This game's not quite living up to that at the moment, but I think that's just me because I'm choosing this game to stream. Now, as I was talking, Portsmouth just forced a good opportunity there. They've just won a corner. Portsmouth starting the second half very, very well. Aruchichi with a cross that was... Odozzle with a cross that was cleared, and it is going to be a corner. Sheffield Wednesday has performed better than last season. Yeah, Sheffield Wednesday have. I think a few of us got a bit carried away with how well their form was going, but I do think realistically, I think this is where we should have expected Sheffield Wednesday to be, just be in a very comfortable position. But I think they've got good foundations, and they can certainly build from that for next season for sure. Offside given against Leeds United here. A lot of people did. I predicted them in third, and they certainly are not performing in that way. I did have, when I was making my predictions, because I think I predicted the exact top three, in fact, with the exception of Sheffield United because of their points deduction, I did predict all three relegated sides to go back up. But, that can't be the case because I predicted Luton and Sheffield United in the playoffs. But I did expect the three relegated sides to be good. And I did in the back of my mind think, right, well, because we've had, a terrible season. Well, all three have had terrible seasons in there, right? But quite honestly, I should have been confident enough to back one of them to not have a good season. But I think it would have been difficult for me to say that would have been Luton. I would like to know anyone that predicted Luton to fall down even to the bottom half. And what it has done is given me an interesting sort of insight of what could happen next year if the same bottom three in the Premier League are going to go down, to see how they're going to cope. We could see a third Welsh team in the Championship. I like to think, has that ever happened before? I'm not even sure if it has. If it has, I would like to know when the last time that was the case. Wrexham in the Championship, I would not be able to remember the last time they were in there. I think it was certainly before my lifetime. Dan James, this could be a good chance for Leeds from one end of the pitch to the other. Around the keeper. Oh my gosh, it's another dreadful miss from Joel Pirro. That is two big chances that Joel Pirro has missed for Leeds. So it is literally a blistering counter-attack from Leeds. I think that it was a contentious offside decision. It wasn't given. Solomon stayed on side in the corners to the ref. He goes around Schmidt, does the hard work. All Pirro has to do is hit the target. He skies it over the goal. I can see how annoyed he is, but that is a terrible miss again. That's two inexcusable chances that Pirro should have put away. Since 04-05, really? So since the reformation of it. That does, so they were actually in the top two divisions in my lifetime then. I was around in this world when they were in it, but clearly I wasn't watching football in that level. I've been in the Premier League relegation has basically confirmed. Yes, yeah. I don't even, I think it's even pointless to try and predict the positions. I have a feeling it's going to be Southampton last, Ipswich 19th and Leicester 18th. I think Leicester are going to sack Ruud van Nistelrooy and they'll get someone in and they'll get a very, very, very brief bit of positive form. Ipswich, I can't see them winning more than one game from now to the end of the season. Or were they in League One back then? I was going to say, yeah. I knew they were in League One not too long ago, but I knew it has been a long time since they've been in the top two divisions. Do you reckon Leeds can break 106-point record? Honestly, no. I don't think so. So if we look at the table, there's no chance. Let's look at this table in a moment. So Leeds have to be perfect if they draw this game, especially. So let's say Leeds draw this game. They would have to win all 10 games to beat Reading's record. So, honest answer, I don't think so. If they win this game, it's still going to be tough for them because they can't afford, actually, yeah, because even if they draw, okay, so they could potentially draw one of their last 10, but they can't lose a game. They can't lose a single one of their games. This could be a chance for Portsmouth. Still have a chance. Richie headed away just outside the D. Dozzle wins it back. Leeds managed to clear it. Oh, good defending. The 1980-81 season was the last time the three Welsh sides were in the same league. Thank you, Johnny, for that brilliant stat. That is... well, so if I do the maths there, that's 45 years ago. So that would be an incredible bit of history being broken there. By only 1 point. Yeah, well, either way, I don't see Leeds winning all their games. Personally, I don't think they will. I think that record is safe. And to be honest, I didn't even feel at any point of the season I felt any side was going to break that points record. It wasn't like last season where it was so unbelievably competitive and the standard was so high that the points record did feel under threat at stages. But, Leicester, I think, were able to actually go through 4 defeats in a row and still win the championship. Oh, right. So they were in League 1 04-05. Right. So they've never been, at least, in the 21st century, they've never been in the top 2 divisions. So, yeah, Wrexham will certainly break some history if they do get to that level. Marianakis is bringing us back. So, yeah, that's a reference to Nottingham Forest. Unbelievable. I mean, we spoke about the shock of the championship for Luton being so bad. The shock of the Premier League, I think, is how good Nottingham Forest have been. Certainly it is a blast from the past because, I think if people were able to follow a basic history of Nottingham Forest will know that they have had their experience of winning European titles. Them and Aston Villa being able to do that. Right. First substitution of the game. Sorry to change the conversation. Aruchichi is off. Good player, but very terrible name to pronounce, so I'm almost pleased he's going off. And Terry Devlin is going on. So Portsmouth making the first enforced change of the game. Achuchi is off, number 17. Devlin's on, number 24. It is really... it's unbelievable how well Forest have been. It has been sensational. They're still in the FA Cup quarterfinals as well, which is even more amazing. It's been an amazing season for Forest. And I don't think a lot of us thought... I predicted an improvement, but I did not think it would be, a 14-place improvement from last year to now. It's amazing. They won the same amount of league games as Reading that season. Yeah, as I said, those 4 defeats in a row for Leicester at one point of the season stopped them from doing it. But it shows you the consistency you need. Because we did speak about Leicester at some point just winning every single game. I think in their opening 10 matches, Leicester won 9 out of 10. So that consistency is really difficult to maintain. Jamie McDonald looks like a real gem, says Henry. We're 10 minutes into the second half. And apart from that miss from Pirro, we've not really seen anything else. Pirro is going to really be frustrated with himself. That's 2 massive, massive chances. XG apparently is looking at 1.5 for Leeds' point of view. Portsmouth have not even mustered 0.2. Yeah. And that is something that Man United should be looking at, trying to get clever recruitment, to get players in with not disgustingly high salaries and wages, but players who can play a big part of this team. It is a really big reason for that. And I think Forest needed to do that, because otherwise they would have really been toying with financial fair play rules had they been spending out again. Oh, Aruchichi has got ice on his ankle. Oh, he must have rolled his ankle. Oh, I have to say, I've done exactly that, and it's not fun. The burning, the burning sensation you get in your ankle when you've rolled it is not fun at all. I think the thing that I'm a little bit worried about with Forest is they're clearly doing really, really well this season. If they do get Champions League, which I really hope they do, it will be absolutely amazing for not only the club, but for the city itself. They've not got the biggest squad in the league, and I do think it does actually remind me, funny enough, with Nuno Espirito Santos Wolves, when they were doing really well in their first season. They were really good, can give anyone a game, but they barely rotated their squad. And Nuno clearly backs the key players for Forest, but if they had like the amount of injuries that, I don't know, like a Man United or of Chelsea have had, it could have very well been a very different season. And that really comes down to making sure that they have enough contingencies to balance that. And when you're playing in more games, ultimately the likelihood of those injuries occurring does increase. Yeah. And that's fair enough. I think it's just making sure the quality of that squad is still good in the 23-man squad. Now, this could be a chance for Portsmouth here. Here's Josh Murphy. And it's blocked and it's a corner. Still no save being made by Meslier. And it does make sense, because he was the same with Wolves. Wolves never have really had a big squad at all. Right. Corner to Portsmouth. We'll see if anything comes from this. Why do I look really, really small? Right. I need to sit a little bit more upright. It looked really, really small in the camera there. But yeah, my thoughts of the season, that's practically it, really. You know, I've not really got, you know, I've obviously been watching the Championship the odd time, the odd Premier League game I would watch as well. What I will say is certainly Birmingham of making League One look like a playground to them, because they are absolutely dominating that league in the moment, and they will be returning to the Championship. Chance for Portsmouth, oh, not quite a clean header there. Oglieve can he keep it alive? Can he keep the ball out of play? He does. Cross comes in, headed away, shot wide of the post from Josh Murphy. Portsmouth having a couple of flurry of chances, but still none on goal for Portsmouth. I'd like to think that Portsmouth has still not had a shot on target at home. Yeah, still no shots on target for Portsmouth at home. And I can hear Gatsby is snoring again in my bathroom. He's taking the royal Mickey at the moment, doing that. Okay, Portsmouth again somehow getting into Leeds' penalty box. Okay, Devlin getting involved into the game now. Josh Murphy, it's not quite cleared. Portsmouth could still try and make something happen from this. Matt Ritchie does very well, although that cross wasn't well at all. And yeah, it's defended. Wolves are just barely alive. I did not expect Wolves to be as bad as they were this year. I really didn't. I thought they wouldn't be amazing, but I thought they would be lower part, well, sort of like in the middle region of the mid-table. You know, right around, ironically, where Spurs are at the moment. I knew they had a really tough start to the season, and I thought it might be difficult for them to get going. Oh, this is a gorgeous ball! Oh, and it's a goal for Portsmouth! What a delightful ball! And it's Colby Bishop who scores for Portsmouth. Literally out of nothing. I was talking to chat, but the quality of that ball to find Colby Bishop was sublime. That's the quality I've been waiting to see from Portsmouth in this entire game. And with their first shot on target, Portsmouth take the lead in this game. Oh my gosh. Let's see what happens here. Who did it? Was it Ogleave? It was Ogleave. He has been a handful in this entire game. The quality of that ball was insane. It was Joe Rodon and Strojcic. Bishop manages to run in between them. I think Rodon is not happy with Meslier. I sense a bit of frustration there with the defenders and Meslier there. But Bishop has scored that goal. Oh my gosh. It is 1-0 to Portsmouth. That is a huge moment, potentially, in the promotion race. Yes, a lack of communication by the sounds of it. I mean, because it seemed to me that the gap was quite big between Strojcic and Rodon. Rodon seemed a bit confused about where Strojcic and Meslier was. Oh my gosh. Our record won't be broken, says Big Mill. Well, as it stands, yes, that will be the case. Leeds will stay on 66 points, and it means that they'll have to win all their games to get to 106. And that won't happen. There's no chance that will happen. You have to think about the difficulty of winning 10 games in a row. It is not easy. And suddenly, Portsmouth are now starting to ask questions. I don't know what has happened, because when Leeds had that big chance at the start of the second half, I thought that would affect Portsmouth, but it really hasn't. If anything, it's woken them up. And they are now the ones asking the questions in the game. Bit harsh to blame Meslier. It's hard for me to blame Meslier for that. I don't think it's all entirely his fault. I think it's a combination of Rodon and Strojcic not spotting Colby Bishop, because I personally think because I think the space between them was way too much for Bishop's point of view, and I don't think either one of them was watching Bishop's movement at all. I don't know what the commentators are saying, because I've not got the sound on. I don't know if the commentators are being a bit harsh on Meslier, but I don't think it's all entirely his fault. But I think the communication part of it, maybe what they were wanting was Meslier to alert Rodon and Strojcic that Bishop was running through. And I think that's part of it. But again, I don't think it's entirely his fault. But clearly what happened there was, I think both players initially ball watched and just did not watch Colby Bishop. It could literally be as basic as that. Fratton Park is rocking, says Nick Knack. Bit of both. Yeah, I would agree with that. Who do you think will win automatic promotion? That's a really good question. I mean, you're asking me this now that Leeds are now in a pretty, sticky position. Sheffield United still got to play Burnley though, don't they? So it feels like to me that I think Leeds will be one of the sides going up. I have a very funny feeling it's going to be Burnley that will join Leeds. Reason being, I just think their defence is going to be the difference. I just think, whilst Sheffield United have been good defensively, Burnley's defence has been on another level. And I think that might prove to be enough. And I really do think it's going to be the outcome of Burnley against Sheffield United. I think, was it game week 44, 45 when they play against each other? We had a game like this. What season was it? I remember talking through it. Was it Bournemouth against Brentford or something? Or Bournemouth Forest? That we had a very similar game where Bournemouth won. And because Bournemouth won, it may have been Bournemouth Brentford, where Bournemouth won. And because of that, they managed to pull away from Brentford. This could be a chance for Leeds. Jayden Bogle in the box. Dan James now outside. Guev. Junior Firpo. Cross collected by Schmidt. They did overplay it, indeed. They absolutely did. It was Forest. I do remember this now. It was the Championship. It was, I like to say, I think Forest actually did get promoted in that season, though. Yeah, because I remember doing a stream on it. It was Scott Parker for Bournemouth. Forest was Steve Cooper, I like to say. And I think Bournemouth scored a late goal, I like to say 85th minute. And because of that, was it Forest, I think? So, hang on a minute. I'm getting my seasons confused now. I need to think of what stream it was. Bournemouth played someone where Bournemouth had their second place under threat. I like to think it was a team either like Brentford or Forest. Like 2021, around that time. This was also game week 45, which I don't think should have been game week 45, but I think it was postponed for one of the teams going far in the FA Cup. Bournemouth got promoted first. I saw that match when they got scored against Nottingham. I like to think it was against Nottingham Forest. I felt like it was Brentford personally, but it could have been Forest. Yeah, they're trying to say it was, okay, it might have been us. I should remember, I did stream that game. I remembered it. Okay, so the emphasis on Meslier there is the fact that he ran back a bit and he didn't charge for the ball. But it was a little cut run, right? Okay, so I pretty much got the sort of narrative correct, but clearly the wrong side in the outcome. Bournemouth story is crazy. Yeah, I mean, Bournemouth are another team who recently have gone up, but have just been able to find a way to cope with it. Leeds have made 2 changes. Matteo Joseph is on, and Joe Rothwell is on the pitch. 3 changes, because Ramazani is also on. So Solomon, Aronson, and Tanaka are off. Ramazani, Matteo Joseph. Oh, shot for Portsmouth out of nothing. What a save by Meslier. Unbelievable save. Oh, Stoke and Port Vale in the same league. Oh, that is a derby. That is a derby. That we could potentially see that in League One. I mean, Stoke in League One doesn't feel right to me. But then, at the same time, I felt the same about Birmingham and Huddersfield. That's a good save. I think it was Andre Dozzle with the shot. Good. Yeah, Andre Dozzle. Literally on the volley. It was straight at Meslier, but it was with power. He had to do quite well to get that shot out. So yeah, Portsmouth 1, Leeds 0. They did show the table. Once this corner has been cleared, I will show you guys what it does to the table. It's just, they're taking their time with this corner, but maybe it's down to Portsmouth wanting to make sure that they take their time on anything at the moment. Corner comes in. Oglieve with a free header, but it's wide. I'm predicting Stoke, Plymouth, and Oxford will get relegated. It feels like Plymouth will go down. Stoke are not far away. Oxford are not too far away either, but I think Oxford have now given themselves a bit more of a chance now to survive. I predicted Portsmouth to go down, I've only just realised. And to be fair, at the start of the season, it looked like I was a genius. But as soon as they got their first home win, Portsmouth have not looked back, and they have been a joy to watch this season. And I'm glad for them that they've actually stayed up. I think it was more like to me that I didn't want to jinx them in a way, potentially. But it's unbelievable, really. Portsmouth have really turned around this second half, and Leeds have Leeds have certainly like still in the dressing rooms because they are really not laying a glove on them. Apart from that one really big chance at the start of the second half, Leeds have not threatened since. Hopefully Derby are deep in the relegation zone. Well, they did win yesterday against Blackburn. Of course, John Eustace winning against his former club, it had to be, which was his first win as Derby manager. It just made so much sense. So let's actually look at the table, because I did say we'll do that just to talk through the implications. So currently, as it stands, there's a black screen. That's very helpful, isn't it? There we go. So as it stands, Leeds stay on 76 currently. And that's 2 games without a win for Leeds. Is this going to be the Leeds meltdown that inevitably happens in most seasons? If Leeds do not get promoted from this stage, would this be worse than last season? The thing is with last season, they got 90 points, and I do think the quality of the other teams was just a little bit of a one-season thing, and they were quite unlucky in that regard. But if they don't get promoted from this point on, considering the position they found themselves, this will be worse. Portsmouth will be on 42 points if they carry this up. That would be an amazing return for Portsmouth, and they could really start looking ahead towards the lower parts of the bottom half of the table. Amazing from Portsmouth, really. I've not seen much of a championship. I've been focused on League One and League Two. Yeah, I think it's always good to scope down the leagues and see how teams are doing. Poppy are pretty much safe if they can win today. Oh, I think so. So when you think about it, I mean, Derby are on 32. Portsmouth will be 10 points clear of relegation with 30 points left to play. I think that sounds like safe to me. I can't lie, I don't see Derby winning more than 3 games. I don't see Luton winning more than 1. And Plymouth, I don't see winning more than 2. I think we'll actually see Luton rock bottom, personally. I think Plymouth may be 23rd and Derby will be 22nd. That's what I think we'll see. So in that case, then I think once you hit 40, I think you'll be safe. And to be honest, Cardiff and Hull and Stoke, they only really need 1 win for that. And I could see them more likely getting 1 win in 10 as I would for Derby getting 3 wins in 10, if that makes sense. A couple of players I'm interested to see come back are Dale Taylor, Tyler Binden, and Jamie McDonnell. Absolutely. We're nearly streamed for 2 hours, believe it or not. It has been a crazy 2 hours. It is certainly one where I've had to be a bit patient to wait for some drama, and we've certainly got it. I've got to say thank you guys as always for watching. This is the current state of the channel. We're on 2869 subs. Someone asked me about, doing fantasy next season, and I can't lie. I'm sort of still not too sure where this channel's going to be going for next year. Reason being is that it does take a lot of time. I do want to focus on my full-time job, with opportunities now starting to be open for me. And quite honestly, it is, the performance of the channel this year has been very bad. I'm not going to mince my words, it has been. So at this moment of time, we are, 131 subs away from 3K? It'd be amazing if we can get it. I'm sort of like leaning into the position thinking if I do get 3K, would that be the time where I pull the plug? The temptation is there to think, that'll be a good way to end it. But I don't know. I need to see where I am in my life. And I also need to see, how I can effectively post and still maintain the high quality of my work. It's a hard one, really. But as always, liking and subscribing really does help the channel. And it is really, really good support that I'm always getting from you guys. And if it wasn't for you guys appearing on the stream now, I would have easily pulled the plug on this channel years ago. Right, Portsmouth are making a sub. Matt Ritchie going off the pitch. Great performance from Matt Ritchie. Really impressed with him. He's definitely getting a standing ovation and well deserved. He hasn't really been been chipping in with the goal, but he has been a handful with their attacks. Cohen Bramall, a player who I know all about, has gone onto the pitch. Former Colchester player. He used to play for Rotherham as well, but I remember him when he was with Colchester. .43 set by Bolton Wanderers was the lowest points tallying for a 21st place finish. Really? Without taking points deduction into account, that is a really good stat. And I did remember Bolton not scoring many points, but just surviving. Do you remember the game that they did to survive? Because Bolton needed to win that game to stay up. They beat Forest on the final day, 3-2. Yeah, well, thank you, Henry. But I've had a job for nearly 2.5 years now. University was very much, this could be a chance for Leeds. Oh, what a save by Schmidt. Out of absolutely nothing, Leeds nearly draw level. And that's another moment where I think Leeds should have taken their chance. Let's see this again. The attack happened so quickly. And it actually started and ended with Junior Firpo. Oh, yeah, that's very poor for Portsmouth's point of view to concede that chance. But it's a good save by Schmidt. He digs Portsmouth out of trouble. Shot! Oh, off the bar! Is it a bar? Header! Oh, just wide! Oh, Leeds have gotten so close twice now. My goodness me, the frustration of Firpo and Dan James is insane. Right, the cross comes in. Was it a post or was it a save? Firpo with the header. Off the bar. Keeper doesn't even touch it. It came off the bar. So there's a header that came off the bar. The follow-up. Dan James heads just wide of the post. Oh my goodness me. And then there's the replay of Schmidt making the save from Firpo. He just needed to get height on the shot and that would have been it. Oh my goodness me. I was ready to change the 0 to the 1, but it wasn't to be. And now here come Portsmouth. Bramall with the cross. Too high, as his crosses typically are. Shot. Oh, really close. Oh, Josh Murphy tries from distance, but just wide of the post. All of a sudden now, we've got chances going everywhere. The cross was pretty bad from Cohen Bramall, to be honest, but it finds Josh Murphy in the end after the clearance, and he takes a shot. Height is perfect, but and it actually hits the post. I actually thought it was wide, but both Leeds and Portsmouth have hit the woodwork within 1 minute of each other. That was amazing. What a last couple of minutes we've just seen here. Both Portsmouth and Leeds have hit the woodwork in 1 minute from each other. Portsmouth now with a throw-in. I might have to start really concentrating on this game here. We think blink and you'll miss it sort of thing at the moment now. It looks like Sam Byram and Will Nonto are coming onto the pitch. Jaden Bogle's going off. He'll be replaced by Sam Byron. And it is Gruev who's going off and Nonto's coming on. Yeah, they are twins, Josh and Jacob Murphy. I feel like in their playing styles you would notice, I would find. For me, I think Josh is a bit more direct in his play, whereas I think Jacob is a bit more technical. So, it is still 1-0, but I have no idea how it's still 1-0 based on that last couple of minutes. Both teams hitting the woodwork. Schmid making an incredible save. Throw in for Leeds. The more of a question is, can Leeds find an equaliser in the last 10 minutes? We've got 10 minutes plus stoppage time left. This timer has really been lagging now. I'm going to change the time to try and for it to recover. So I will be doing that. 2 seconds. Ooh. Right, okay. There we go. Yeah, oh, that's okay. That's okay. I can cope with that. Leeds on the attack currently. Here's Mateo Joseph. Poor ball, and it's booted away. In the UEFA Champions League, only 18 games out of 144 ended level. The new format really pushed teams to go all out for wins. That's a good thing to point out. So, a lot of the times with Champions League, a lot of teams I think try and get wins early on, and then for the final couple of games, they take the draw, or at least, you know, if they qualified, they would probably take a draw out of anything. But honestly, that does actually that's a good way of putting it, because you get 3 points each time you have a game. It does give teams an incentive to win. I would just like to feel if there was like a better way to get, you know, more teams against each other in a way, and it wasn't so random about how each pool of sides were getting played. But I guess that's the best way that they could think of at the moment. A lot of people are going to really struggle to adjust to the new Champions League format. I've not been too against it. It's just very different to what I'm used to be honest. I mean, again, I probably would have more to say if Chelsea were in it, but I can't lie. I can't comment on the Champions League. I've got no right to. Chelsea are nowhere near there. Okay, we are in our final 10 minutes. And I've got to say, Portsmouth were very, very strong for most of that second half. I do think the last couple of minutes, they are caving in ever so slightly. But that is to be expected. You know, Leeds have made the substitutions. They're going to be chasing to get an equaliser. Match momentum graph tells the story. Yeah, no, it's exactly what I've been saying. Hopefully we will be in the Champions League if we continue form. I like to say, I actually think Portsmouth... not Portsmouth. Could you imagine? I like to think Nottingham Forest will be in the Champions League. The fact that Chelsea are signing the youngsters is good for long term. But unfortunately, at this moment of time, you've got a very impatient fan base that demands trophies now. And at this moment of time, I don't see Chelsea winning another trophy in another 5 years at most. The personnel's not right. The mentality to win is gone. And when you lose that mentality, bad habits form. So, personally, you know, whilst they are getting past some loopholes, I just think, as a whole, the whole identity and the whole culture of winning of Chelsea has died. And it's been more profit-making in their ways and in their strategies. It's sad to see, really. Here come Leeds with a bit of a spell of possession. They need to really start putting Portsmouth under pressure, which they have been doing. You know, I can't deny it. Schmidt has made some really good saves, but they do still expect a little bit more from what I've seen with Leeds. They will still be top of the table. You know, let's not forget about that. They still will be top, but it is really going to put the pressure on, and it will excite Burnley and Sheffield United. We could see a situation where both Burnley and Sheffield United go up and Leeds have to go for the playoffs. Gatsby's just left my shower. Does Gatsby want to see the stream, or does Gatsby want to leave my room? I think he might want to leave the room, but with any luck, he might want to join us. Come on, Gats. The people here want to see you. Right, sorry about that, guys. I've just been delivered lunch. And obviously because of that, Gatsby's no longer here. He's gone. He definitely wanted to go. Just been delivered lunch, which is the perfect diet. To be fair, you know, I'm gonna treat myself due to the fact that I've gone through an exam this week, so this is sort of my way around it. It's going to be so tempted. I mean, I so want to have the lunch, but then at the same time, we've only got 5 minutes left of this game. Maybe I could survive not having it. I don't know. Decisions, isn't it? At this moment of time, man of the match is a difficult one for me to pick. A Gleave, I think, will be up there for Portsmouth. He's not only offered a lot attacking-wise, but defensively, he's been great. I don't think I can give it to a Leeds player, because Leeds are currently on the losing side as it stands. Bishop could arguably be given it because of the goal, but for me, out of everyone I've seen, I might give it to a Gleave. He assisted the goal, and he has been a handful for Leeds to deal with. Although this could be a chance here. No, a Gleave with the clearance. There you go. Surely Southampton are going to win one more match this season. Well, if I look at Southampton's games, I will assess their chances by looking through the next couple of games for them. Southampton certainly showed that they could, but will they? I'm really not sure if they will. They've got Wolves next. That's a big game. Because Wolves could look at this game as a chance to get out of the relegation fight if they do get a result. But Southampton could easily get something there. Palace. I think Palace will beat Southampton. Spurs. I actually think Spurs will beat Southampton. Villa will beat them. West Ham. Yeah, surely West Ham will beat them. So that's their next 5 games. And then we're looking at the last 5 games for Southampton, and they are... So Southampton end the season with Arsenal. They're not winning that. Everton, no, they did beat Everton at home. I think Everton will beat them though at Goodison Park. It's their last game at Goodison Park, so they're going to be wanting to win that game. Then Man City, no, they won't beat Man City. Leicester away, that might be a big game. That could be an opportunity for them to get a win. Fulham, I think Fulham will beat them. And then there's that West Ham game. It's hard. I think the home game against Wolves is the most likely one they could win, which is their next game. If they don't win that, I think it's going to be very difficult for Southampton to pick another win. Their only away points have come against Ipswich, haven't they? Because that's the only team they've beaten away from home all season. Just get older experience. Yeah, but they're not doing that. So that's part of the problem. They're not doing that at all. So it's really frustrating watching Chelsea at the moment, because you can clearly see with the recruitment, they've got one thing in mind, which is money. And that's the frustrating part. And clearly we've seen with those players that with some discipline and some experience, they can maintain a good run of form and a bit of longevity. And it's very common that around December time, where the cluster of fixtures comes in, the squad doesn't cope with it. And we've seen that year on year, and that's happened again this year. Portsmouth on the attack, 88 minutes in. Very inviting cross from Swanson. Header, it's straight at Ilian Melier. Devlin, who has actually, I think Devlin's been quite good since coming on for Portsmouth there. Bramall. And that's a very inviting cross. I think that was actually Andre Dozzle with a cross, actually. Free kick awarded to Leeds. Very, very angry reaction for the Portsmouth crowd. I don't think stoppage time's going to be more than 3 minutes. I don't think we've seen enough delay. I mean, we've seen the goal, but the goal's really been the only thing that's caused a delay. Surely we've not seen anything else that's caused any more delay, so I think it's got to be around 3 minutes. I mean, maybe subs could put the time up, but because we've seen another sub for Portsmouth to slow the game down. In fact, we've got a double substitution from Portsmouth, which will be their last substitutions. Looks like Andre Dozzle is going off the pitch. Oh, sorry, no, it's not Andre Dozzle. Excuse me. What was it? Excuse me. That's my stomach telling me to eat this lunch, which I'm not going to do. I'm going to remain professional and still maintain this. No, it is Andre Dozzle, but Zach Swanson is also going off. So I was correct about Dozzle going off. Dozzle and Swanson are off. Looks like we might get 5 minutes of added time based on the board. Isaac Hayden is going on, and Yengi is coming on the pitch. Two defence-minded substitutions there. So certainly Portsmouth losing a midfielder and gaining a defender. They have certainly got keeping this clean sheet in mind and keeping for the win. They're not intending to attack Leeds now. Leeds certainly still on the ball. 5 minutes of added time. I'm very shocked how they got 5 minutes, but I don't know how they got 5 minutes. Oh, got a bit of tension. We've got tension. Surely we might. Are we going to see yellow cards? Oh, hello. Referee, you need control of the situation here. Third post down. Don't know why. I don't know what happened there. It's very, very... okay. Potts tries to kick the ball away from Furpo. And then, yeah, Potts is manhandled, basically. I'd love Portsmouth to do another goal and to give him at least charity by giving him a goal. Well, yeah, that would be a 2-1 scoreline, but at this moment, you're going to get 1 point in Prediction League. I'm going to get 0 because I backed Leeds. Maybe I should have seen this result coming. I don't know. Anytime I get a prediction wrong, I always think to myself, just, what did I do wrong there to get this wrong? And sometimes I have to put my hands up saying, well, I just really underestimated this side or overestimated this side. And other times I'm just thinking, you know what? It made sense now that I'm looking at their performances. But Portsmouth are just clearly showing how strong they are at home. And this is a very clear example of it. Free kick was horrendous. It didn't even beat the first man. That's an appalling free kick from Leeds. Nonto now on the ball. And he's passing it back to Millier. Portsmouth are 3.5 minutes away from a famous win at Fratton Park. It's not over yet. Mateo Joseph and Strojcik trying to get the one better of Yengi, sorry. And a free kick has been awarded. A free kick has been awarded for Leeds, actually, for obstructing the play. We're now into our final 3 minutes. Gosh, I really want to eat this lunch so badly, but I'm going to hold on. I'm going to enjoy this lunch when I end the stream. It's Freddie Potts that gets yellow carded for that little incident a couple of minutes ago. This free kick's got to be much better for the last one. It needs to beat the first man for a start. That's a bit better. No, it's not great. It's even worse. It goes out of play. I tell you what, just the quality of the free kicks have not been great from Leeds. I'm quite surprised. It's Joe Rothwell who's been taking those last 2 free kicks, and they've not been anywhere near the standard that I would expect. Daniel Fark looks very, very angry, which I'm not surprised because this was a big opportunity missed for Leeds, and it certainly gives a boost to Sheffield United and Burnley. Yeah, I know, because we remembered at the start of the season Portsmouth were in the bottom 3, which I predicted at the start of the season. But they put a graph up that actually in Portsmouth's last 10 home games, Portsmouth have won 8 of them. I think that was the form. You know, I think so in their last 10 home games, I think they lost 1 and they've drawn 2. So they've won 7 out of their 10 last home games. And then when you put that into perspective, this is going to be 8 wins out of 11. That's amazing. Hopefully Plymouth can kick on as well. I don't think they will. If I've got to be brutally honest, I don't think they will. When I eventually cover the relegation picture, I'm going to be expecting the same bottom 3 to be in the bottom 3 when I do cover my relegation talk, which will be about 2 weeks' time. I think it is going to be that same bottom 3 at the moment. I just think both of the teams' confidence is just not there. Derby could maybe get a response after their win against Blackburn, but realistically, I don't see it. I personally do not see it. Didn't they lose Whittaker to Borough? Yeah. Yeah, Morgan Whittaker's not been playing. Although, having said that, I've not really seen Whittaker at Middlesbrough either. We're in the final 10 seconds here. This could be the last chance for Leeds. A throw-in being taken in. Stroychik trying to get a header. Thurber with a cross, deflected, out for a corner. They want the full-time whistle, Portsmouth, but a corner is going to be given to Leeds. This might be their last chance. The players look absolutely shattered, which I'm not surprised. Medier is up. All 11 players of Leeds are in the penalty box. This is really their last chance now. They need to take it. This will be it. It absolutely will be it. They need to win. Well, the quality of the ball needs to be perfect. Corner coming. Header. What a save by Schmidt. Is he another corner? What an unbelievable save. Who got that header? Number 25. Oh my gosh, what a save. Schmidt with an unbelievable save. It's corner number 2. He's smiling. He's pleased with that save. He needs to stay focused. The game's not over yet. Rough over the corner. Stroychik not with a good enough corner. Slices his shot over the goal. And that is full time. What an amazing win for Portsmouth. Recently promoted to the Championship, and they have beaten Leeds United. They are well at home in Championship level now. It's a brilliant opportunity missed for Leeds United to extend their lead at the top. They're going to have to settle for drawing the same amount of points as Sheffield United going into the midweek set of games. It does open the door for Sheffield United and, of course, Burnley trying to get into the top 2 places now in the league. The goal came from Colby Bishop, a brilliant assist by Conor Ogleve, who would be my choice of man of the match. He was a handful attacking-wise and defence-wise as well. A terrible day for Joel Pirot, who missed 2 major chances. A heroic day for Schmidt in the Portsmouth goal, who made some amazing saves today. Portsmouth have all been heroes. They carry on their terrific home form and are now looking better than ever. They've hit the 40-point mark. In fact, I was going to say Ogleve man of the match. Maybe I should say Schmidt should be man of the match, realistically. I think with the saves he was making, I think he will be my choice as man of the match. What an unbelievable game this was. Let's look for table. I mean, that's the subs. We don't need to look at those. Leeds still 76 points. No change in their position at the table, but that's another defeat for Leeds. Portsmouth now on 42 points. They stay 17th, but they are looking as strong as ever. And you've got to say now with 42 points, I think they're safe from the drop. In Fratton Park, it has ended. Portsmouth 1, Leeds United 0. Wow. I would like to talk for a little bit, but I've got this lunch that I want to enjoy, so I might end the stream now if that's alright. You guys have been streaming for nearly 2.5 hours actually, which is crazy. If you guys have any more burning questions, I'm giving you a 1-minute warning to get those questions out, which I'll quickly answer. But if you guys have not done so already, please do smash the like button. It really does help the growth of this channel. Please do hit the subscribe button too, as we're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers. It really, really massively helps. And sharing the channel too really, really does help as well. Leeds can only try to tie the record already. Yep, I didn't think they were ever going to break the record anyway. I never got that feeling at all in the season. Alright, so next video you'll see of me will be my week 37 score predictions, which will be released tomorrow. I'm going to record that later today. And Prediction League, that will be updated very, very soon. I'm probably going to spend some time this afternoon starting to calculate the points. So stay tuned. You'll see an update very, very soon. But what a game we've just watched today. Thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you guys tomorrow with my week 37 score predictions. It has ended in Fratton Park. Portsmouth 1, Leeds United 0. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you guys soon.